A piercing shout cut through the cabin. "This isn't your seat!" A furious white woman sat rigid, her face flushed with anger. Across from her, a black man raised his boarding pass high, his voice trembling with fury as he declared, "This seat has my name on it, and you have no right to sit here." What seemed like a minor disagreement exploded in minutes into a viral case of airplane discrimination, live-streamed to thousands. Inside the suffocating first-class cabin, every pair of eyes locked on them, one refusing to budge, the other refusing to back down. The tension became unbearable, hearts pounding as silence screamed louder than words. And then the truth began to surface, one revelation at a time. His name was Daniel Carter. On the surface, he was ordinary, mid-30s, tall but not imposing, dressed in a plain black hoodie and dark jeans. To the casual eye, he looked like another tired traveler heading home. But beneath that modest exterior lived a man whose decisions had shaped companies, jobs, even entire industries. Daniel was not just another passenger. He was the founder of Skyrise Technologies, a software empire powering more than half the airline booking systems across America. To some, he was a visionary. To others, a disruptor. To his critics, just a lucky kid who cashed in at the right time. Yet here he was, dragging a carry-on through Los Angeles International Airport, yearning for rest in Seat 2A on a red-eye to New York. Ironically, that was his first mistake. The October night carried lingering heat. The terminal glowed with neon signs, polished floors, and the constant hum of engines outside. America itself felt restless, caught between eras. News cycled with inequality, viral outrage, protests, and demands for change. Airports mirrored that tension. Strangers pressed together, carrying private dreams, fears, and prejudices. Daniel felt its weight in glances that lingered too long, in the hesitation before his ID was returned, in the surprise when people realized he was the one holding the platinum boarding pass. A ticket might buy entry to first class, but it could not erase centuries of assumptions about who belonged there. And then there was the woman already seated in 2A. Her name was Victoria Hensley. Blonde hair styled perfectly, diamond studs glittering, fingers tapping on a designer phone case. She radiated wealth, not the quiet confidence of earned success, but the brittle entitlement of someone told the world was hers. Daughter of a Palm Beach real estate dynasty, raised in mansions, schooled in exclusivity, married into even greater fortune. She had never questioned her right to any space she wanted. Slipping into 2A wasn't an accident, it was a declaration. This is where I sit, because this is where I belong. Around them, others unwittingly took their roles. Sarah Nguyen, a young flight attendant rehearsing her smile, determined to keep the cabin calm. Captain Robert Steele in the cockpit, veteran of storms and failures, but never the storm of public judgment. Passengers murmuring in Spanish, students quietly recording, an older black couple exchanging weary glances. They didn't know yet they were witnesses to a story that would travel far beyond Flight 237. Even before the confrontation, the seeds were sown. Daniel carried years of being underestimated, of professors asking if he was in the right classroom, of investors mistaking him for an assistant, of articles calling him articulate as though eloquence were an unexpected trait. Victoria carried the invisible armor of privilege, never needing to question her place. 2 lives, 2 narratives, 2 Americas collided over the same seat. Seat 2A was more than upholstery. For Daniel, it was hard-earned rest. For Victoria, it was a throne of status. For those watching, it was a mirror of belonging and exclusion. The hum of the engines masked the rumble of conflict, like thunder waiting to break. And somewhere in the back, a student's live stream had already begun. The cabin felt shrink-wrapped in silence as Daniel stood with boarding pass raised like evidence. Victoria lounged as if on her rightful throne. Then, from behind row 6, came a loud pop and hiss. A soda can had exploded, drenching a teenager. Laughter rippled. Daniel almost smiled. "Guess I'm not the only one losing my seat tonight," he muttered. Chuckles spread, but Victoria snapped, "Are we finished with these disruptions?" Her tone dripped disdain. Daniel replied, "Next time, I'll schedule my oppression around your convenience." Gasps, laughter, even applause. For the first time, her composure cracked. "Do you even know who I am?" she spat. He raised an eyebrow. "Do you know who you're talking to?" Phones tilted, streaming their duel. Sarah Nguyen stepped forward nervously. "Maybe we can move you, Mr. Carter." Daniel cut her off, grinning. "Sure, if the new seat comes with a time machine to refund the price I paid for this one." Laughter again. His phone buzzed. Skyrise legal team. Recognition spread. "Wait, that's the CEO," someone whispered. Daniel smiled. "Guess the cat's out of the carry-on." Victoria scoffed. "If you were who you claim, you wouldn't dress like that." He spread his arms. "Sorry, left my crown and scepter and checked baggage." The cabin roared with laughter. Victoria's face hardened. "You're nothing but a scam artist." Daniel tilted his head. "Funny, I thought sitting in someone else's seat was the embarrassing part." By now, live streams had thousands of viewers. If Daniel backed down, it confirmed every prejudice. If he held his ground, fallout loomed. Headlines, stock crashes, lawsuits. Stakes grew beyond comfort. This was about dignity. A man in row 2 joked about taking 2A. Daniel quipped back, "You'll have to wait until the Queen abdicates." More laughter. The crowd leaned toward him, enthralled. Beneath humor pulsed a deeper truth. Privilege can be as casual as slipping into the wrong chair and expecting the world to adjust. Silence followed again. Daniel's voice cut through. "You think this is just about a seat, but you have no idea what you've started." Phones kept recording. The air grew thick. This was no longer comedy. It was raw confrontation. His heart pounded, memories of being dismissed flooding back. If he gave in, he'd concede the right to exist where he belonged. War raged inside. One voice urged surrender, another demanded defiance. The eyes of others begged him not to lose. Victoria lashed out. People like him always play the victim card. Maybe he should learn his place. Gasps, prejudice laid bare. Silence, heavy with shame, filled the cabin. Daniel looked to the older couple. Their gaze pleaded, "Not again, not here." He steadied himself. Slowly, he raised the boarding pass. "This seat is mine, not because of who I am or what I own, but because I paid for it, because I belong here." Calm, steady truth. Sarah Nguyen stepped forward, voice firm. "Mrs. Hensley, I need to see your boarding pass." Victoria sputtered, "Do you know who I am?" Sarah didn't flinch. "Yes, a passenger. Sit where your ticket tells you." Murmurs filled the cabin. Finally, Victoria produced her ticket, seat 4C. Reluctantly, she moved. Daniel sat in 2A, shoulders heavy. Comfort won. This way was cold. Whispers spread. Phones captured it all. He wondered if tomorrow he'd be admired or condemned. The external war ended, but the internal war had just begun. Victoria leaned close, whispering, "You think you've won, but you've made the biggest mistake of your life. You don't know who you're dealing with." Fear prickled Daniel's spine. The engines thumped as the plane pushed back. The flight attendant's voice announced doors closed. On the surface, the conflict was resolved, but the narrative was already spiraling beyond his control. A student's live stream climbed past 10,000. Headlines formed in real time. And then Victoria's phone rang. A name glowed. Senator Hensley. "Yes, Daddy. Don't worry, I'll handle it. He won't know what hit him." This was never just about a seat. This was power. Political power. Daniel's chest tightened. Victory here could mean ruin outside. The plane thundered down the runway, engines roaring like his pulse. He exhaled sharply, pulled out his phone, and stared into the lens. "My name is Daniel Carter. Tonight, something happened that shouldn't happen to anyone. This isn't just my story, it's ours, and it's not over." The cabin froze. His defiance went viral within seconds. Victoria glared. Sarah trembled. The live stream exploded. The older couple nodded silently. But Daniel knew shadows would rise to smother the fire he had lit. Hours later, in the dimmed cabin, others slept uneasily. Daniel stared into darkness, headphones silent. Triumph and dread warred in his chest. His phone buzzed again. A message from an unknown number. "We warned you. You've started something you can't finish." His blood ran cold. The fight for seat 2A was over, but the war for everything else had just begun. The plane streaked across the night sky, fragile against the vast dark. Screens buzzed worldwide with judgment and debate. Alone in his seat, Daniel understood that nothing would ever be the same. And in the shadows, Victoria's smile gleamed like a promise. This was never about a seat. It was about power, and this was only the beginning.